Adventure and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Standing still, raise the barricade, none shall pass and the foe. Hold your ground, backs are galvanized, chained by truth that will flow. Face your fate.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio. I'm very excited about our next guest because I got to see them in June at Graspop, in August, Labor Day weekend, Rocklahoma, Louder Than Life, and now upcoming Aftershock. So let's welcome to the show Richie Faulkner of Judas Priest. How are you?
I'm doing very well, man. Good to see you. I didn't realize you were at those shows, dude. There were some good shows right there.
No doubt. Yeah, I cover all the Danny Wimmer festivals.
Right.
But I also do the European and the UK festivals. I do all over the US. And yes,
Right.
I've been lucky enough to see you guys probably for like the 2000th time over
Right, that's
this
awesome, man.
past few weeks.
And we've got one coming up, as you said, Aftershock, right, in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's my birthday weekend. Well,
Oh, dude,
what was
you get Priest and Maiden together.
I know, that's wild. I used to see Priest and Maiden together when I was a teenager in the 80s, like all the time. So it's like a reunion.
I was talking to Rob about it the other day, and the last time they played together like that, we played with them last year at the Aftershock Festival, but that was not on the same day. But
Right.
I asked Rob, when was the last time you guys played with Maiden on the same day? And he thinks it's back on Point of Entry when they played together, like back in the early 80s. So it would be
Wow.
great to, as a fan as well, you know, I'd love to see Priest and Maiden on a bill. And we were talking about getting a photo together because I don't think there's a photo of Priest and Maiden together. So
Wow.
hopefully we can get a photo together in Sacramento.
That's pretty cool. And, you know, I know that one time Steve Harris said to you way back when that if anything happened to anybody in the band, that they would bring you right in.
Well, yeah, he kind of he said, yeah, if anything happened to any of his guys, I would have been the next phone call, which is I don't know what you call it, like a validation, like, and then some. You know what I mean? If Harris would have you in his band, that's amazing. But Steve was one of the first people I told when I got the gig in Priest. You know, I was obviously in Lauren, his daughter's band, and I told the band first, and then I told Steve, and he couldn't have been happier. You know, he thought it was a great opportunity. He loves Priest, and he was more than happy to see me do something like that. You know.
Well, that says a lot about you as a musician that like two of the most iconic metal bands in history both wanted you. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's well, obviously Maiden didn't. He was just saying if anything happened, I would
Right.
be, you know. But yeah, it was great to be. You know, obviously I was I knew Steve before Priest, and yeah, it's great to be in those two camps. You know, they're both favorite bands of mine, obviously. So it's good to now know both Maiden and Priest personally. It's crazy, really.
yeah, totally. And as somebody myself that in recent years had my own heart issues, I was at Louder Than Life in 2021. So I was super excited to see you playing there in 2024.
Well, as you can imagine, there were a few personal milestones on that show last weekend. You know, I didn't make too much of a public thing about it because everyone seems to do that, and you know,
Yeah.
it's a personal thing. But there was a moment in 2021. We all know what happened. But at the end of the show, at the end of Painkiller, I usually lift the guitar above my head, and I couldn't do it. Obviously, everything was happening internally. I didn't have the strength to do it. So when this one came around, 2024, there was a moment right at the end of Painkiller. I looked out at the crowd and then lifted the guitar above my head, and no one knew but me. That was my moment. That was kind of a a personal milestone. Like I finished the gig as I meant to finish it. It's taken me 3 years to get back and do it, but I did it. So it was a personal milestone. And also, the first one in 2021, my daughter, she was just a little over 1 year old, and she was at home. She had no idea about what was going on. This time, they came down the front in the pit, her and my other half, and you know, I teared up a bit seeing my little girl down there. She's 4 years old. She was in a leather jacket. She was having fun.
Wow.
And so we've gone from the one when she was 1, and now she's 4 in a leather jacket, and it kind of makes you realize what you've been through and how long it's taken, but you've got there, you know.
No doubt. And it's amazing because, like, what you went through, some people wouldn't be here in 2024. And now you're in all these festivals, on tour, new music. Like, by the way, the newest album that came out in March, that's some of the best Priest music ever. And that's coming from somebody that's been seeing Priest since 1980.
I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you like the record. But yeah, I think the first thing, you're right. People don't usually make it to the hospital with that when that happens. So fortunately, I made it to the hospital. They worked on me. They saved my life. And then I think when you come out the other side of that, I think one of my first goals was to get back on the guitar, get back to health, and get back on the road back in 2022. And we went out in March 22. And then there's something in your brain that kind of changes. We're not here forever, and we all
Yeah.
know that, but you don't quite know what's around the corner. So if you've got some ideas, if you've got some riffs and melodies and ideas for an album or a book, or if you haven't seen your family for a while, there's something in your brain that says, do it, get it done, get it out there. So it was back on the road, back in the studio, getting back to some sort of normality, because you never know what's around the corner, as you know.
Oh, 100%. And like, it's funny because before that happens, like, I had 2 heart attacks 2 years in a row,
Wow, man.
and both surfing. So like end of 2017, I was in Hawaii surfing, had a heart attack, and then got cleared a year later. You know how you go through that whole year of like
Right.
recuperation. Cardiologist clears me. I decide I'm going to go to Costa Rica and celebrate and go surfing, and had like a massive heart attack.
Oh no.
And
Wow.
and before that, it's like I'm invincible.
Right.
Pun intended. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm invincible. And then you just realize, like, I've always lived life to the fullest every day, but you realize it even more. Like, listen, you want, like you said, you want to get everything you have out of you, because you never know what's around the corner.
That's right. And it's glad you're still here, by the way, man. I'm glad you're healthy
Thanks.
and doing good.
Same to you.
I don't know. There's always something that drives you. There's always, creative stuff. It comes from somewhere, and you're driven. You have to record it or put it out or let people hear it. I don't know what quite does that, but it's another driving factor. It becomes very clear. Your mortality becomes really clear to you, and it's just another driving factor. Not that I'm driven by fear of dying or anything like that, but it's a reality, really. And it's another driving factor that pushes those ideas out, and those songs and those riffs and stuff that you get in your head. You're driven even more so to put them onto tape and get them out there, hopefully.
And you're right, because like, I'm not driven by fear, I'm driven by living. So it's like, I'm not afraid of dying, but I want to accomplish a lot more while I'm here and not waste any time doing it, which is the same philosophy there. So
That's right.
tell me, what else do you want to accomplish in music that has still been something that's a goal that we can look for in the future?
That's a great question. I mean, I'm the guitar player in Judas Priest. I've written 3 albums with them. I've been on, I think, 5 world tours at the moment. I accompanied them at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kind of, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean? You don't get bigger than that. So everything else, really, every day is a bonus. We're out on this tour at the moment, but there's always something creatively that you haven't done, and it will always be that way. You could do, you could be the hardest working musician in the world, and on your deathbed there will still be something that you wanted to achieve. You know, that's just the way that life is. You know, but so yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but you're always trying to achieve a better version of what you can do, or a better statement in your music, or a better solo, a solo that speaks better, or more technical, or a better song, or better connection, whatever it is. You're always searching for that, and I don't think that will ever end. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, how about also the 4-year-old?
Mm.
Is she going to get into music? Like you got into music very young because of your dad, right?
That's correct. Yeah. You never know. It's funny with kids. They get into stuff sometimes because you are, and then sometimes it's the opposite. They don't get into stuff because you are. They're bored of it. They're jaded. If, for example, she's been around music and guitars all her life, she might get to a point where because of that, she just doesn't want anything to do with it. You know. But
Yeah.
then on the other flip side of that, it could be totally different. She could be introduced to music and something that she loves because she's around that. So you never quite know how it's going to turn out. You just got to kind of support whatever way they go, and don't push them into anything. I know at the moment she loves drums. She loves Scott's kit, and
Nice.
whenever she comes down, Scott lets her get up on the kit and stuff. She loves to sing. She loves to dance and stuff, but all kids do at that age. You know what I mean? So it's just
No doubt.
seeing which way they go.
And is she a big fan of your music? Because it goes the same way too with kids. It's like, they're either like it, what you do, or they're like embarrassed by it, or they don't like it, or they're going a different direction. All those things.
That's funny, man. No, she loves it at the moment. She loves the whole thing. She loves when they come out on the road. We take her out as much as we can. We take her to Europe. We take her to Japan and stuff for the kind of education of real life, you know. But
Yeah.
some kids, you get out there and they're crying backstage. They don't want to be there, but she loves it. She dances at everything. She loves the music. But I'm sure when she gets to like 12 or 13, then she's gonna rebel and hate what dad does. But at the moment, she still likes it.
Yes,
She loves Panic Attack.
I love it, and that's an amazing feeling, isn't it? When your kids out there dancing to your music.
As I said, you know, they walked in front of me in the pit at Louder Than Life last weekend, and I had to kind of put my head down. I teared up. I didn't want anyone to see, but it's an emotional thing, you know, when they're
Yeah.
getting into your stuff and they're happy. And she's a smart kid, and as I said, she travels a lot with us. So hopefully, you never know as a parent if you're doing the right thing. You just do what feels right. So hopefully, we've given her a good foundation, and she'll find her own path, you know, as we all do. And it
Yeah.
might not be my path, but as long as you kind of again support them and guide them on that, whatever they choose. But I'm sure she'll get to an age where she hates this stuff. She doesn't want to talk about it. She's embarrassed to even, talk about it around her friends. But at the moment, she's still into it, so that's good.
There you go. I love it. And so Aftershock, that's one of my favorite Danny Wimmer festivals. It's a cool vibe there. It's fun. I always ask the artists that play the Danny Wimmer festivals how it feels. Like you've played festivals all over the world. How do you like playing the Danny Wimmer festivals? Because I get a lot of great feedback about how Danny treats the artists.
Yeah, it's always comfortable. It's always. I mean, you get some of these festivals in Europe which have been going 25 years now. You know, so they've had the time to evolve and change anything that needs to be changed. And for a while, the festivals in the US were catching up to that. You know.
Yeah.
But I think festivals like the Danny Wimmer festivals, they are on par with those kind of things now. You've got Hellfest and Wacken and stuff like that in Europe. And the Wimmer festivals are kind of catching up to that level of not only for the fans, but for the bands as well. You know, we enjoy doing those festivals. We know what to expect. And when you're on a tour like this, everything's kind of, gig after gig after gig.
Yeah.
So you want it to run smoothly. And those festivals really do that.
Yeah, you mentioned Hellfest, and I cover Hellfest too, but I was absolutely amazed the first time I did Hellfest. It was the first one after COVID with the 360 bands.
Right.
And I'm interviewing all these bands, and they're just telling me, It was the easiest, most stress-free load-in ever. Like, the sound check was done 5 minutes, and from what I heard, there was not one band that had any problems with sound.
Great.
That, to me, an artist, that's like the dream, right? You know, like, because you don't want that stress. It's not your sound people. It's not like it's your show. You're going to a festival, and you want it to just be stress-free so you can get up there and have fun.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, there's always an element of the unknown, especially with festivals. It's not your gig. It's not your. It's unfamiliar. You know, you're coming into a situation. Our crew's coming into a situation. It might be weather. It might be the technical aspect of the equipment there. So there's always an element of the unknown. I think you don't expect it to be 100%, but as close as you can get it to that is obviously going to be a joy for any artist coming in, any crew coming in. The smoother they can have it, the better it is for everyone, and the better show that everyone gets at the end of the day, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to being at your set at Aftershock. You're going to kill it. And thanks a lot for like just giving us great music when we probably need it most, because music's the best therapy and the best uniter. And Judas Priest has always united the world forever as long as I'm into music. So I'm glad that you're keeping that alive.
It's an honor to be here, brother. Good to talk to you. Glad you're healthy as well. And we'll see you at Aftershock in a couple of weeks now. Not even.
Yeah, next weekend. So
yeah, man.
We'll see you then. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
It's a pleasure. See you then, man.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Hi everybody, it's Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest. You're listening to the Pipeman on W4CY Radio. Keep it real.